Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of the oldest and most influential stories ever told, Homer's Odyssey.
So right off the bat, the Odyssey has this huge storytelling puzzle. We're talking about a 20-year journey. How on earth do you make that feel urgent and suspenseful? How do you keep it from just becoming, a really, really long list of things that happened?
First, let's just wrap our heads around the scale here. We're talking 10 years at the Trojan War, and then another 10 years just lost at sea trying to get back. Along the way, he loses everything, all his men, all his ships. It's just an epic story of loss spread over this incredible amount of time.
So Homer's solution to this whole puzzle, it's absolutely ingenious. And it starts with a choice that, honestly, feels kind of weird at first. See, this epic story about the hero Odysseus, well, it doesn't actually begin with him at all. Yep, you heard that right. Instead of starting at the beginning, we're dropped right into the middle of the chaos. It's the 10th year of his journey home. We're thrown in right when things are already heating up, which, of course, just instantly builds tension. So forget a simple chronological story. Homer does something much, much cleverer. The first 4 whole books, what's known as the Telemachy, they don't even focus on Odysseus. Nope, they're all about his son, Telemachus, who's now a young man trying to deal with a huge crisis at home. And this is just a brilliant move. Seriously, a masterstroke. Why? Well, by starting on his home island, Ithaca, we get to see the mess he's been missing. We hear all these stories that build up his reputation before we even meet him. We see how desperate things are, which makes us need him to come back. And, really importantly, it sets up the bad guys, the suitors, and shows us why they absolutely deserve what's coming to them.
All right, so after 4 books of setup, we finally meet Odysseus in Book 5. But wait a minute, what about all his famous adventures? The Cyclops, the Sirens, all that stuff the Odyssey is so famous for.
You know the ones I'm talking about. His terrifying run-in with the one-eyed Cyclops, Polyphemus. His escape from the deadly Sirens and those sea monsters, Scylla and Charybdis. And of course, his time on Circe's island, where his men got turned into pigs. That's the core of the story, right?
Well, here's the thing, and it's a really cool twist. Almost none of this is actually told by the narrator. They're told by Odysseus himself. He basically sits down and tells his whole story as a giant flashback. It's an amazing move because it positions him not just as a hero, but as this master storyteller, literally crafting his own legend for an audience. Okay, so this brings us to the final and longest section of the whole poem. Odysseus finally makes it back home to Ithaca. You'd think that's the end, right? But nope, the story is far from over. Instead of some big, flashy return, Homer slows everything right down. For nearly a third of the entire epic, we're watching this slow-burn revenge plot unfold. Odysseus sneaks back, disguised as a beggar, and just watches. He's testing who's loyal, who's not, and waiting for the perfect moment.
And this creates this incredible tension, right? It's what we call dramatic irony. We know who he is, but nobody else does. So we're just watching these arrogant guys make fun of him, and we're thinking, oh, you have no idea who you're messing with. This suspense is just fantastic.
And all that suspense builds to this amazing climax, the test of the great bow. His wife, Penelope, sets up this impossible challenge to string his bow, knowing only her husband could do it. The tension just keeps ratcheting up until, finally, the disguised beggar asks for his turn.
So, what's the big takeaway here? This whole structure, starting in the middle, the flashbacks, the slow revenge, it's not just some ancient quirk. It's a storytelling blueprint, a really powerful one that's been shaping stories for thousands of years. This technique is called in media res. It's Latin for in the middle of things. By jumping right into the action, Homer grabs you from page 1. And by making you wait for the backstory, he controls everything. The suspense, the character reveals. It's a masterful way to tell a story that a simple linear narrative just couldn't match.
And this is probably a big reason why the Odyssey still feels so modern, so fresh. Think about it. How many stories today, movies, books, you name it, still use this 3,000-year-old playbook? It just goes to show you how you tell a story can be just as important as the story itself.